Hi, everyone. On the 9th of August is South Africa celebrates Women's Day. So basically, during the month of August, we are celebrating phenomenal women and women who have actually paved ways for young girls who will be following on their footsteps. So as part of Chayama Chabela's theme, we will be showcasing quite a number of women who have done the most, women who have broken ceilings. So today we are talking to such women, and that woman is Dr. Sebo Tladi. Dr. Sebo Tladi is the first Black South African woman to earn a PhD in electronic communications law. Dr. Sebo Tladi is senior lecturer at the University of South Africa. Welcome, Dr. Sebo.
Thanks, Dumelo, for having me. Thanks for the invite and the consideration.
Okay, thank you so much for making time. And I understand that you have quite a busy schedule and you are now going on leave. And I can only imagine how hectic your week is. But thank you so much for making time. Can you just tell us, as we start, can you just tell us who is Dr. Sebo Tladi?
Okay, before I start, again, thanks for the consideration, and hi to all who's listening. My name is Sebo Tladi. I was born and bred in Pretoria. It means all my schooling is in Pretoria, whether primary and high school. I come from one of the townships in Pretoria, Soshanguve. Those who come from there, we call it Lesosha. So hi to my Soshas if you are listening. And then I studied at TAX. I studied at Vista University, did my BUris degree, and then went on to my LLB and LLM at TAX, and then did my LLD with UNISA. And as you've said, I'm with UNISA now, a lecturer there.
Okay, no, thank you. I'm also gonna say hello to my Mamelodi people because I come from Mamelodi, so I sort of like quite understand Soshanguve. So what made you to want to study electronic communications law?
Let me correct that. It's not electronic communications law, and I know when it went out to the press, I never got to see the final product. But my specialty really lies in cyber law, or what is called information technology law, and in that you'll find other components. So I now currently teach legal aspects of electronic commerce, which is e-commerce. So basically the thesis is on an aspect of e-commerce, which we'll talk about later. But the reason I got into it, it was, just, I think by mistake, but I really inquire a lot and I would like to know what's happening. I was teaching company law, corporate law at UNISA. And then in 2000, there was this new law that was coming, and, there were these seminars and stuff, and I just wanted to be part of it, part of that environment. So that's how I got to be where I'm at now.
I know as in academia, you don't actually stop learning or doing something. What are you currently busy with?
Like you said, I'm going on leave and I can't wait. I'm busy with administrative issues, marking assignments and stuff. But research-wise, I still need to publish from my doctorate. And as you know now, that is the in thing. I mean, we're talking about Popia and STEM, and that was what my thesis was on. So I need to expand on that, and just to sort of round up that research and see what's happening really moving forward with the FOIR and all these kind of things. So that is what I'm busy with, if I have time away from my administrative issues.
Thank you. Like you already said, I mean, Popia Act is, it has caused quite a bit of stir in South Africa. I mean, it recently came into effect, and everybody's trying to make sure that, they comply to the Popia Act. So can you maybe just educate us or give us a summary? What is this Popia Act all about?
So the Protection of Personal Information Act of 2013, which came into being in 2013, but was also introduced piecemeal. Now we see that the remaining sections in the provisions in that act are now being implemented. One of those being section 69. So what the act is about really is to promote the protection of personal information by public and private bodies. and also to set legal requirements and guidelines as to how those businesses, yours included and others, and private individuals are required to follow when sourcing, storing, processing, and sharing their personal information. And basically, that's what the Act is about.
I think if I may, yes, do you want to go on?
No, it's fine. You can come in.
Okay. Just to help our viewers as a layman, I mean, a lot of people, if it's, Protection of Personal Information Act, I'm asking myself, will I still be getting all these spams, or all the spams are going to stop? And what about, the advertising? Are we still going to be receiving all these targeted advertisements? And sometimes I see they're asked you need to accept cookies. So maybe if you can answer us and talk to, us as a layperson, or respond to a layperson as to exactly, how are we going to be protected by this Popia Act?
Okay, as noted, I said there were legal requirements. There are conditions of lawful processing. So there are 8 conditions. So that means that before a responsible person can collect, then they have to at least align themselves with it. I'm not going to go into those, but what a lay person needs to know is that are you still gonna get spam? Yes. In fact, in my thesis, I also came to that conclusion that it doesn't, not because spam is, Popia advocates for an opt-in, meaning that you will be approached. So that's why you are getting these emails, these SMSs, people advertising, saying that, they would like to do business for you. They're within the confines of the law, really, because that's what Section 69(1) says. There has to be an approach first before they can get that consent. And we call that an opt-in model. But what I've seen in my findings in my thesis is that most people are saying that's a soft opt-in, meaning that you can still be approached. And I think most people, especially those who might not know the law or understand how it works, all of us will still get that. But Popia allows it. Section 69 allows for that approach to be made to get that consent from that person. But when I looked at other jurisdictions, they're also having an opt-in mechanism, but that opt-in mechanism is restrictive. So they don't allow for anyone to approach. But there had to be a relationship before you could be approached.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So go. Okay, for example, if can I post somebody else's information as an individual? Can I post somebody else's information on social media?
So if you look at the conditions of lawful processing, whether it says that information or personal information must have been received from the data subject themselves, not by anyone else. So if I'm posting stuff online and stuff by other people, what I think the question here is, what will which law would be applicable if you're posting those sensitive images about other people? And as you might have noticed, there's the cybercrimes bill, law, it's now law, it was a bill that came into law 2019, Cybercrimes Act 19 of 2020. That specific issue is dealt with, I think, under Section 16, how to deal with those where people are, posting sensitive stuff, whether it's images about the other person without their knowledge. That will be part of that, will form part of the Cybercrimes Act.
Okay, so like you said, this was the Popia was part of your thesis and your research. So in your opinion, do you believe that the Popia actually affords consumers more protection?
I noted in my thesis that, of course, there is protection. It's good to have a law than have none, and then we can work on it, amend it, and build upon it. But it's not gonna, for me, it's not going to do that. I mean, already people have harvested lists. Our websites have been hacked. There are cookies, as you have said earlier on, which basically tracks the behavior of someone online. Hence, next time when you go to another website, it flags other things that you might like. So for me, it's not going to do that. And that's why I was advocating for a multi-purpose, multifaceted approach, which will look not only at legislation, but legislation being the first step, in according that protection. And I know Popia tackles harvesting of lists, but I also say that they have to talk about, also address selling of list, acquisitions of list, people who are aiding and abetting those, responsible people to approach other people. So for me, it won't do that. But my approach is that consumers also need to be vigilant when they are, surfing the net. And I know most of us are not. We are just using our tools, whether it's a smartphone or whatever that we use to access the internet, we use it without even thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I think as consumers, you're right in that we need to be vigilant. I mean, I just recall the other day I was at, buying, a takeaway, and at that company they wanted my, and it was not online. So I was in the restaurant. They wanted my contact details and my names, and I was like, why do you want them? And so that's the kind of vigilance that I think as consumers, you shouldn't go out just giving people your contact details and your personal information. So I think can you maybe just give us examples as to what kind of changes do we need to make on our websites as companies? Because especially small business, I can imagine that a lot of people, they don't know yes, there is a Popia Act, but are there any changes that we need to do on our websites or within our companies?
So as a responsible person, or you having a website, there are things that you need to do, and you need to know the information that you have. So personal information, for instance, according to the Act, there's a whole list. It will be, your name, your physical address, or your cell numbers and stuff. But also companies have that kind of information, whether it's HR, you have employees that you are dealing with, you have their information there. And someone was saying that in order for companies you need to prepare yourself, not only, but your employees. And that it means that you have to also comply with the minimum conditions that's set out in the Popia Act, the 8 conditions that I mentioned earlier, or I just highlighted. So one of the things that they're saying is that you must, first of all, create an awareness in your company. Because you have this information on the website, you've collected, you are collating, you are sharing, you are doing all sorts. So you must have, number one, you must create an awareness, ensure that your employees are aware of Popia. Number 2, you must have a data collection assessment, assess the manner in which your clients and your employees collect the data. And you must have policies. And about policies, not only do you implement a policy, establish a policy, you must also review that policy to see if it's working. You must maintain that policy, and then you must also be able to amend it to align. And also you must have an audit of sorts. Which policies and procedures should you assess by the Popia specialist, if you have? And I think one should have those kind of people in their companies, and then implement training as a website holder, or a person who's dealing with other people's personal information.
No, thank you, because I'm already thinking we take as a law firm or as attorneys, we take quite a lot of information from our clients, especially for FICA purposes. So I guess one would like to say, need to go back and look at the manner in which we are actually getting this information, and how are we ensuring that the information is protected and nobody else can take this information and do as they please. And I think the important part that you mentioned is educating our employees, because they are the ones who are actually daily working with the information of our clients. So it's very important to educate our employees. And we also touched on the fact that we need to have a policy. I mean, I always see people having policies, but a policy, it means for it to be implemented, you need to educate your employees about that particular policy. So it's all good and well to have a policy, but your employees need to know about that policy. No, thank you so much. If I think this is going to be my last question, but if what is it that you think it's crucial with regards to Popia? So even if anyone forgets everything about Popia, what information or what message do you want to pass on, especially to consumers, to be aware of Popia?
Okay, earlier on I mentioned a multifaceted approach to this. So I think first and foremost, as consumers, we need to be alert, we need to be aware. When we receive these messages from advertising or marketing companies, or whomever soliciting information from us, this is what we need to know. If you don't know that person, just delete it. In my research, I found that if you reply to the messages, then they know that you are quote unquote alive, and then they'll continue sending or share the information with third parties. So as consumers, we need to be educated. I also would like to see stakeholders coming on board, stakeholders, whether it's a government, making sure that the education that our kids are receiving at schools is relevant. I know they have IT, what do you call it, courses, subjects, subjects, but those IT, they start in grade 10. I mean, our kids are born into technology, so those are the things that they need to align. Also, I think, service providers, they also need to hold each other accountable, or others, those that are using their services. And if they see something unwarranted, then they need to approach it. I know the ACTA deals with that in section 70 to 78. And I think lastly, what I'd like to see, just practical things. So when you're buying a phone, no one tells you, that there are these, you can, use a filter, all those kind of technical issues that come with it. So it would be, for me, lovely to see the proactiveness from those kind of people. I mean, we know that your Vodacoms were also, some time back, where they were saying that they were hacked and stuff, and they were saying, no, but we are not, this is what happened and stuff. So we need those, everyone needs to come on board and educate and have those awareness campaigns. We will still be getting spam, and we must know how to deal with it.
No, thank you so much. And I think, when you touch on the fact that our kids, at the moment, they're aware of technology. So it's very important for them to also be aware of Popia. I mean, they're growing up, the social media, they need to know that, the example that you gave, that if somebody sends you a message, if you don't know that person, just delete the message, don't respond, because when you respond, you're actually starting some sort of communication. So I agree with you in that our education system will need to change. I mean, we can't be having kids learning about ICT in grade 10. I mean, I have a 6-year-old, and he's very aware of apps, YouTubes, and all that, and technology. So I think our education system needs to respond to that. And so thank you so much, Dr. Kadi. I think that's the end of our interview with Dr. Sebo Kadi. Like we said, during this month, we will be showcasing a number of ladies who have actually broken the ceiling, who are paving ways for young girls to be able to see that it can be done. So Dr. Sebo Kadi, thank you so much for your time. So if anyone would like to contact you, can you give us your contact details? You mentioned that companies can sort of get the services of a Popia specialist. So what are your contact details if somebody is interested in procuring, or getting more knowledge from you?
Well, I'm not a Popia specialist. I just happened to do some research there. I mean, people can just, I think I'm there.
You did a PhD thesis relating to Popia. I mean, what
to a specific provision, yeah. But it's good to see that there are changes happening, and then that you are part of the change, or you're instrumental in the change. But I mean, I've got people can email me at tladisem@unisa.ac.za. I've got a Facebook page, but I hardly ever go there. I do other things, not related to my research. Yeah, I'm not that active on social media because, as you've said, I don't, I'm limiting what is called mouse droppings, the information that we leave behind that we do not know that is being left behind, and people are busy gathering. So I'm minimizing that. But I'm on social media as Sebotradi. So I mean, I'm on Facebook if people would like to keep in touch.
No, thank you so
and
much.
Thank you very much. So thank you very much for the consideration.
Because you know about Popia, so that is why you are restricting the information that actually, all of us are putting out there, so that people can abuse our information. So no, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on our social media platforms, be it LinkedIn or Facebook, or Twitter at Chayama Shabela Atenis. If you wish to contact us, you can contact us on 012-942-8710, or send an email at info@tm-atenis.africa. And thank you for listening.